I think a goal for younger dancers or newer dancers coming on the scene is understanding one thing, and that's that anyone hiring you wants two things, and that's a high performer that's low maintenance. They don't want a high performer that's high maintenance, because that also kills it. If you can be amazing and you're like the best or one of the best at what you do, but you're low maintenance in terms of you do turn up on time, you read the emails and you're not asking 100 questions, you do what's asked, you're not slow, you're low maintenance, they don't have to think about you, then you will consistently work. You will consistently get the goods. There's no good being a high performer, but you're high maintenance. You know, you don't read the emails, you're late, you're lazy, this, that, the other. That doesn't work either. But if you can be those two things, a high performer and low maintenance, you will just creep up the ladder, and then you'll get higher and higher and higher in the position because you're trusted. You're amazing, but you're also trusted.
Welcome to Studio Sessions, a video series for creative performers.
Each week we go behind the scenes on the shoots
And sit down with guests to discuss their careers, the creative industry, and share the lessons they've learned along the way.
Welcome to the show.
Hi Adam, thanks for having me.
How's your day been today?
It's been superb because it's been with you guys.
Aww, shucks. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Olivia Beckford. I'm 28 years old, even though I look 16. I'm originally from Manchester, but I'm based in London now. First and foremost, a dancer / choreographer, but now I would consider myself more as a multifaceted creative entrepreneur.
So kind of going back to Manchester there, like what was it that kind of got you into your kind of creative journey?
So growing up, I watched a lot of MTV. I watched a lot of dance, singing, acting. I was always obsessed with what was going on in the media, the lights. Always seemed very far-fetched because I come from a small part of Manchester called Longsight. It's an estate, lots of council houses on my estate, so it was never within reach. But, you know, a girl can always dream. So, yeah, seeing everything on TV and always wanting to be a part of the action, I kind of just found myself in a youth club, which was like £2 a week. You could go and take classes and like vibe with friends. And then that was shutting down due to government funding. And then I found a new dance school that was opening in the centre, which was quite unaffordable for me and my mum at the time because I have a single parent household, 7 brothers and sisters. But yeah, I was told to go and ask for a scholarship, which for me at the time sounded really cringe. We didn't do that. But I had no other option, and I really loved dance. It was a passion of mine, so I thought I should just see what happens. So I rode my bike, because I didn't even get the bus at that time. Went to the city centre, walked inside, asked for the boss. They directed me to her office, and I kind of just went in and said, I've heard like loads about you, and I've heard that this is going to be an amazing place to be, and I'd love to join, but I don't actually have the money, and neither does my mum. And is there any way I could do any jobs around here, cleaning jobs, sitting on reception, any dirty work that you need, I'll do it as long as I can come and train. And it was honestly, the conversation was about 3 minutes long, and she said, yeah, that's fine, start on Monday. So I like clicked my fingers, and then that was it. From there, it was just an upward trajectory of training and dancing and fighting for this dream that I always wanted.
I think what you said just there is like super powerful and super important for anyone on any kind of like financial level to kind of think about, of like going to someone and say, I can't afford what you can do, but I can help in other ways. And I think understanding your own value and where you can help someone is a really, really important place to be as a creative, because I think the creative industry is really hard, and to get your foot on the ladder is a challenge, and I think you have to do it in any way you can, and often it is, what skills do I have and how can I help someone else with those?
100%. And even if you don't have a skill set, like in my case, I needed to work on my skill set, that's why I was there, but there's always work to do. Someone always needs a helping hand, someone always needs an assistant, or someone to clean the floors, or just pass them a cup of tea, or whatever it is. If you're willing to do that, something that maybe somebody else wouldn't be, then that is, I feel like it's a way to get in, because you're offering value in some way, maybe just not a specialised skill set.
Well, I feel like sometimes just your time is value. And I think in that case, it's like a lot of kind of entry-level jobs are trainable, hence they're entry-level jobs. It's like you don't need to have gone to a uni or like done a course to be able to do a lot of jobs. You just need someone on that job to train you. So I suppose a lot of times all it takes is for someone to give you the opportunity. But I think the hardest part is what you did there, of going to say, I'm available to do this if you need me.
100%. And it's like, now I've got older, I always think, I wish more people did that to me. Like, if you just came to me and asked for this or that, I'd probably say yeah. Like, if you came with something that you could exchange, I need help all the time. Like, it may seem like I've got everything together, and probably the same with you. It may seem like that on social media, like, oh, you're doing so amazing. And yeah, we are. And we've worked very hard for that. But sometimes you do need help. And you don't know who to go to. So if someone just came to you and said, you know, I've been watching what you're doing, I want to learn from you, I want to shadow you in exchange for this, this and this. Yeah. Most of the time the answer is yes. Like, we're looking for you. Come and find us.
I think that kind of misconception is like huge. Like, I get it so often where people email me from like uni or something who are maybe doing a course or need to do like an internship or something. And I've had so many people come through I've like trained for a week or two, and they always, as soon as I respond, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you got back to me. And I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, because I've emailed like loads of people and no one got back. And I'm like, what? But surely there's like something in their businesses that could help just by having someone there. And all it takes is me, and like, I'm like, oh, hold this camera. This is how you turn it on. This is how you do this. This is how you can shoot some behind the scenes stuff. This is how you roughly edit on like Final Cut or something like simple. And it's like, it doesn't take too long of my time to train them to get to a level where they're useful for me. And I feel like there's so many people you probably could go and help and network with. And like, because everyone who's come to work for me are now my friends, because they've been here with me for a couple of weeks and we've kind of bonded and we've had like a really good experience. And then that person suddenly got a connection in the industry. And I think that's something that is really important in the dance world too.
100%. And it's always that thing of like, two brains are better than one. So if you're coming in here with a different perspective, even if it's not, you know, have specialized knowledge or advice, but even whatever your perspective is, it's going to be useful to me. Because if you enjoy doing, if we share the same passion, then we've got like a common ground of wanting to get somewhere. So whatever you have to say, even though you think it's not valuable, or I'm not going to say it because it doesn't sound like it's, you know, I'm not on their level. Well, yeah, no, it's appreciated, because there's blind spots and everyone has them. And it's the thing that you miss sometimes. Just like Sienna, oh, should we change the lighting, this and that. You know, if you don't have an ego, then you're open to all ideas and everything is welcome, and it actually just helps you get to where you're going. Yeah,
and I feel like I've learned a lot myself from, because obviously I don't have a dance background, but just being around people in the dance world and kind of listening to them, asking them for advice, and kind of being open and not having that ego, I think has really helped me get to where I am today, because I've listened a lot. And I think if you listen and take things in, then you grow as a person and you can kind of grow from there.
100%.
So kind of going on to today, what was your first look and what made you bring that?
So my first outfit today that we shot in was the bikini, and that represents the sexy girl era of Liv, which is coming into the industry as a tomboy and realising that this is not going to work. Especially the era that I came in, it was very hot, sexy girls, and I didn't really understand how to get ahead, because I was a street dancer, a hip-hop dancer. We wear baggy clothes and bandanas, and, you know, it's kind of that thing, if you can't beat it, then join it. And I was trying to beat it for a long time, and I was going to the auditions dressing how I dress, and that wasn't working. And a smart dancer is always someone that goes with the tide, like go with the wave. So yeah, I just started doing my hair differently. I mean, less clothes, heels, the lip gloss, everything came out. It was kind of like a fake version of Liv, but I also enjoyed it. I also loved like getting into my girly bag, and where I thought everyone would be looking at me and thinking what she's doing, it was quite normal. So I enjoyed wearing it. I enjoyed being in that era.
Cool, next outfit.
So sick.
Right.
Love that.
And how do you balance kind of like keeping part of yourself when it comes to kind of having to mould yourself to what they're looking for?
I think that's a case of showing who you are through your art. I think how you look, we've all got to fit a mood board sometimes. It's just how it is, and there's no beating that. But you showing your personality through your art, that's what makes you different, and that's what I never let go of. So
with your art, how have you developed your own style in terms of like the way you dance, and how's that progressed over the years?
I think developing your style, it's an accumulation of everything that makes you you, i.e. your experiences, your background, your culture, who your parents are, what do you eat, what do you like to listen to. And you have to take all of those things, and that becomes a part of your brand, and then express that through whatever you express it through, dance, art, music. It gives you that it gives you that pizzazz, the X factor. So I think, well, what gave me my style was my background. I literally came from dancing in the street. That's what we did as kids. Like, oh, what should we do today? Let's go make a dance on the pavement. And we go make a dance and we show our parents, yay. But so going into street dance, that was quite a natural transition because that's what I used to do. Going to the parties when I was younger, we listened to dancehall. That was like my background, coming from a very like Caribbean-based community in Manchester. So going onto that style, which is one of the main styles that I like to do in dance, it was just a natural transition because that's what I know. And I think anyone like coming up or anyone trying to find the style, or, you know, when they get into a stressful time of finding what their lane is take what you know and put that into your art. And it doesn't matter, that doesn't have to be what's cool. It just has to be you, because you'll make it cool. And that's what I did, and I hope everyone else does. Don't try and be something that you're not, just be you, because that'll stand out.
And how did you, so when you first started at college, how did you kind of adapt to the different styles that you'd be learning there? Because if you kind of come from almost like one style, then how do you kind of develop that? Or how did that feel going into a place where you're doing all sorts of different things every day?
I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy that process. Because, you know, when you're stuck in your ways and you think your art is your art and the way you do things is the only way to do it and it's what you want to do, and therefore I wasn't open to doing anything else. I remember going into a ballet class and thinking, why is everyone wearing pink tights? I'm not wearing pink tights. That's not me. That's not cool. But as I matured, as I got older, I realised that I need that ballet lesson. For me to be the best that I can be at hip-hop and my own style, I need to encompass all these different styles and all these different ways of moving. It's going to make me better, which I didn't understand coming in because I was young. But when I got over myself and the pink tights and I ended up putting them on and I got to the bar, I realised I found a new love for it. I enjoyed it. It was like, okay, this isn't what I do. It's very classical music. I'm not used to it. But as I got better, I got more secure in myself, and I thought, wow, like, this is making everything else in my life better. You have to be open-minded. You can't be closed-minded, and you can't let your insecurities, which is what it was for me. I was insecure because I couldn't do it. I didn't have long limbs. I didn't have the small frame. I was, you know, just quite bulky. I was muscly. That was my body type. But when you put your insecurities and your ego aside and you just open yourself up to new things, the possibilities are endless.
Have you got any advice of how to put those insecurities aside? Because I know for some people that can be like really hard.
I guess looking at other people's journeys, watching other people's journeys, reading about them. All the people that you look up to have had to have that breakthrough moment. I don't think anyone gets as far as they could go. Like holding themselves back from what's next. You know, there's a limit, there's a ceiling if you don't let yourself go. If you let your insecurities keep you in there's a ceiling. And everyone and anyone in the media, anyone you look up to, you'll ask them, oh, did you have a breakthrough point where you just forgot about your insecurities and what was holding you back? And everyone will say yeah, because it's the only way to grow. It's a growth mindset. Like, there's no other way to like really take it to the next level.
Yeah, so talking about taking it to the next level, what's your second outfit for today and what?
The second outfit was my grey outfit. So it was trap star shorts and a bikini grey top. That kind of represents the era of Liv finding the balance between my tomboy and my sexy girl, and realising that you can do both.
Yeah.
So I've got like the baggy shorts, and then I've got the tight bikini top. And once I found my rhythm in dance, and I realised that I don't have to be this extreme end of sexy, girly, hot girl type, and I can actually just be both and be myself, and it still works. I feel like things just started to flourish from there as a dancer and as a person. You don't have to put yourself in a box.
Wow. No work, girl. Not me. Insane.
Next one.
Speaking of not putting yourself in a box, like, you're a dancer, but you've now also written a book as well. What was that, and how did that kind of come about?
Writing the book came out of trauma, to be honest. I had a lot of traumatic experiences in dance. I got released from a job that was like a dream job for me, and there was a period where I wasn't doing much work. you know when you're on a job and you've been there for a long time, you kind of see this job as the be all and the end all.
Yeah.
And you forget about anything else that happens outside of that job. So when you like attach yourself or attach your identity to work and that work goes, it's like, what now? So in that silent period, it was a reflective period for me. And that inspired me to just start writing, because it's like, where do I put how I feel? And I couldn't exactly put it into dance. Like, I'm not going to make a GCSE art piece about my anger. Like, it isn't going to work. And I found different ways to express myself, and writing, I've always done that. I've always done poetry. So I just started writing, and then I found chapters and like the names of the chapters, and I just started to type, and I thought, okay, this could actually be some kind of guide, which turned into a book because it was too long to be a guide. So yeah, it was just talking about how I got there, what was happening now, what inspired the book, how younger dancers or any dancers, older dancers, can navigate through such a hard industry, especially when people don't talk enough about the downs, and it's always the limelight and what you're doing and what's next, but never about the really low times and the hard times.
And talking about those downs and the hard times, what are some things that you've gone through that have been a real struggle, but you've kind of come out the other side of?
Well, that, for example, tying myself to a job, tying my identity to dance. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say my journey in dance has been super, super difficult. I feel like I did put a lot of work in when I was younger, and I applied myself like I've never applied myself to anything in my life. It was kind of like dance or die. So my career, I do feel like, is a result of the hard work. So again, I'm not going to say I had a million no's and it was really, really hard to get to where I was getting. I feel like once I'd put that amount of work in and I'd saved the money, I was always good with finances. I got to London, I was so focused on what I was doing, that naturally I was getting the yeses. I was doing what I needed to do. I was listening to the elders. I was focused. That's all I was. It was just like dance was the Bible, and I read it every single day. So yeah, I feel like if I'm ever having if I was to talk about a bad time or a hard time, it would be now. Being that I'm 28 now, and since I was 13, I've tied my identity to dance, and that's all it's ever been. So that's all I've ever seen for my life. And now getting older, it's like, oh, I wouldn't say you're not you forever. That's one of the subheadings in my book, but you're maybe not in the limelight forever. There's going to be new people coming. There's going to be younger people. And yeah, you're always going to be talented Liv. You're always going to be talented Adam. There's never going to be another you. But there are going to be new people, new faces, fresh faces who people want to book. So yeah, just finding that balance between not being attached to the dance world and the industry, but finding new things. There's new things like start a company, write a book. You've got entrepreneurial skills, put into other places, property, all of that. So yeah, that's the part now that I'm finding hard to like not let go, because I'm never gonna let go of being that like dancer in the limelight that everyone wanted, but to find new things and enjoy them as much as I've enjoyed being a performer. Yeah,
and I think like I've, for example, only been in photography for 4 years and had a full career doing different stuff before that. I think you can change careers, and I think I'm a bit like saying this years and years ago, more about kind of people in the model industry, but it kind of reflects to dance as well. I wish I went through some of the trauma and shit that people have in terms of getting rejected from jobs when I was younger. Yeah, I feel like understanding that a no isn't the end of the world, and there is always a next time. You can keep growing. And I think as someone who goes into a dance space, you're effectively, you finish college, finish uni, and you've become a freelance like creative for years. The amount of stuff you'll learn through that is so transferable to so many other things that you could pick up a camera, you could learn to paint. There's so many other things that you could do that aren't physically dancing, but would be 95% of what you were doing anyway. And I think that's what a lot of people need to remember, is just because your career might have a time limit, it doesn't mean that, just because those jobs might have a time limit, it doesn't mean your career has a time limit, because you can evolve, because you can change. And like, you're probably so much more employable than so many other people because you've got an entrepreneurial mindset rather than just, I'm just going to wait for people to tell me what to do. So moving on from the third look from today, what was that and what made you bring that?
I call this one Lara Croft meets beauty. So my third look for today was my cord, and that kind of represents me now. So when I was younger, I always wanted to, when it came to going out and expressing myself, I always thought I had to be like the less clothes the better. But now I'm just in a place where I like to wear my baggy trousers, my tight top. It's very me, it's very on brand for me. I feel comfortable. I also have my Crocs, which are also from Primark, because again, when I was younger, I thought you had to have brands, and that's what made you cool. But that's not actually me. So yeah, my Crocs, super comfy, super lightweight. I like to be comfortable.
So talking about brands and stuff there, how do you build your own brand as a performer?
Building your brand as a performer, again, is quite easy when you have experiences and when you're taking into account your friends and your family and where you've come from and the colours you like, etc. Again, you have to take all of those things and let that make you. Nobody can tell you what your brand is. It comes from within, and everyone can tell when you're faking it. So if you think, okay, this is cool, so that's what I'm gonna do, and then the trend goes again, and that's cool, that's what I'm gonna do. Eventually, you're gonna get caught out because it's like we know when you're not being yourself. Like who are you? And if you get clear on what your brand is, or at least who you are as a person, then it's easier for agents and brands or choreographers, whoever, to reach out and book you because they're booking you on what you bring to the table, you know? Once you've gone past the fact that you can dance, that's great. So then it's like, well, what next do you bring to this collective, especially if it's choosing dancers for an artist that are going to be on tour for a long time. Just being a great dancer isn't enough. Your look is the next thing, and that comes into your brand as well. People are booking you based on your brand, obviously your talent, but your brand and what do you bring to this table that's going to elevate your own career, the artist's career, and the look of the job.
Yes, I think there's a really big thing where people chase trends, and I think this happens a lot on social media and kind of just in most creative things in general, where they see something popular and then start to be like, oh, well, I have to replicate that. But if you start doing that, you're always chasing. You're never on trend. You're always trying to catch up with what was trendy the first time you saw that thing. And that person you've probably looked at has probably evolved and moved on since then. And I think this happens a lot where someone's like, what's hot right now? And then try and copy that, and then this, and then this, and then this. And then they don't ever have a brand themselves, apart from they're known as the person who just chases the trends the whole time. Whereas if you're just authentically yourself, or kind of have a brand that is more you, then some jobs will come up which just aren't right for you. That's not. But as soon as something comes up that is so you, they're going to be like, oh, we know who to pick for that. Because you're always in people's minds as that thing, because you continue to build that version of yourself.
100%. And I feel like it's easier to navigate your career once you know what your brand is. You're not confused. When people have a lot of questions, like I get a lot of questions, well, what jobs are right for me and what should I do? But you should know that, because if you knew who you were as a person, then you'd know what you can see yourself doing, you know? I know that I probably couldn't see myself in Royal Ballet. I also couldn't see myself on Alvin Ailey. It's not me. But I could see myself dancing for Nicki Minaj or Lato, or, you know, because that's my brand. I feel like that's who I am as a dancer. Hip hop is who I am as a person. That's where I've come from. And it'll be easier for you to navigate your own career if you just kind of take the time to understand yourself first.
So I'm guessing you get probably a lot of people, especially younger people, ask you questions. Is there anything that kind of comes up really regularly of like a lot of people struggle with the same things?
To be honest, it's a lot about how do you get jobs? And I think with this day and age where everything is so easy gratification, instant gratification, the younger generation are not seeing the amount of work that the people that they look up to have had to put in to get the jobs that they're getting. Yes, you might see us or whoever booking job after job or doing these amazing things, but you're not seeing the 12 to 15 years of graft and the yeses and the nos and the knockbacks that we've had to go through to get here. It's not a case of coming up, getting a video in a dance class and then book me, you know?
Yeah.
We've had to train and travel and train and get different perspectives and, you know, stand up for 10 hours on your feet all day getting great. You have to be great. And I know it's not all about the talent, but don't overlook the talent. You have to be talented. The reason why people are so bewildered by your work is because it's incredible. You know, it's not because you're good at finances and your punctuality. They come into it. You know, your attendance is great. You're a nice person. All of those things do come into it. And for another person, that might be their asset, everything apart from talent. But you have to be amazing. That, you know, that is going to drive your force. You have to be great. So when dancers are coming up, wondering why they're not getting it, it's like, are you incredible? Can you look around now and say, I am the best, I'm at the top? If not, then you have to keep working on yourself. Like, you have to just be great. There's no shortcut to being great other than practice and going through rigorous work and trying again until you have all of those skills in your arsenal. Like, you have to be amazing.
That reminds me, there's a book by a guy called Cal Newport called Be So Good They Can't Ignore You. And that is just so important. I think a lot of people don't realise that you do have to be relentless about stuff. Like, you can't just half-ass a creative career, because talent is the thing that's going to win at the end of the day, and people can see that. And I think especially the people hiring, they hire firstly on talent, but then it's kind of like the looks and everything that comes on top of it. If you can't like back up, like you could have the best shop front ever, but if when you walk in that room you can't perform, then you're never going to get hired. And I think there has to be that balance of the quality that you kind of come inside to, of like, you are good enough. And I think a lot of, especially younger people, don't have that kind of drive in the same way to be like, I need to put absolutely everything into this, because your competition is like someone else on your same age group or same kind of who you're competing against for jobs is going to put in like double the amount of time you are every single week to get to where you want to get to. So I think that's something that's really important to focus on, is just making sure that it almost becomes your lifestyle to be able to get better, to always continually grow.
Just off the back of that though,
okay.
I think a goal for younger dancers or newer dancers coming on the scene is understanding one thing, and that's that anyone hiring you wants two things, and that's a high performer that's low maintenance. They don't want a high performer that's high maintenance, because that also kills it. If you can be amazing and you're like the best or one of the best at what you do, but you're low maintenance in terms of you do turn up on time, you read the emails and you're not asking 100 questions, you do what's asked, you're not slow, you're low maintenance, they don't have to think about you, then you will consistently work. You will consistently get the goods. There's no good being a high performer, but you're high maintenance. You know, you don't read the emails, you're late, you're lazy, this, that, the other. That doesn't work either. But if you can be those two things, a high performer and low maintenance, you will just creep up the ladder, and then you'll get higher and higher and higher in the position, because you're trusted. You're amazing, but you're also trusted.
I think that trust thing is really important too, because it's like people will book people off trust, and it's like building trust is so hard. So the only way you can do that is to show up and do what you're told and do everything to your best ability. Of course, so going on to the fourth and final look from today, what was that and why did you bring that?
This one's called Sporty Shorty.
The fourth and final look was my sports outfit, my Nike sports leggings, sports bra and running trainers, and that represents Sporty Live, because athleticism and sports gym is a huge part of my life, not just because it goes hand in hand with dance and needing to be fit, but helping me through like a lot of hard times, through lockdown, through being younger. I found exercise as like a therapy for me. Going running, starting the gym, doing home workouts. I mean, scientifically, it does make you feel better, obviously getting your endorphins and sweating, you feel like a different person after it. But it's almost like a key that I want everyone to pick up. If you find exercise, you're gonna find a happier route to life. You know, you can wake up angry, or you can wake up annoyed about something, that something didn't go well. Just do a 30-minute workout. Do a 30-minute workout and your whole nervous system's relaxed, your cortisol levels are down, you're a different person after you work out. So I felt that was important to bring to the shoot today, because I did want it to be a representation of who I am. And sports and gym and working out is such a big part of my life and who I am.
I was talking about who you are. Do you want to talk about your collective as well?
Yeah, so the IAMcollective is a company that I started with my friend around 4 years ago. And initially it was a collective that coached young female dancers, not into the industry, but to be able to have a growth mindset, to get out of a stuck, fixed mindset. Me and my best friend both came from council estates, both came from low economic, deprived areas, single parent families, not much money. And we've managed to make this career and travel around the world and live in London and buy our own houses, etc. So it's like, if we can do that with such low resources, the general population, anyone can do it. And it was kind of like a way for us to give back, but also it made us feel good to actually be in a position that we would have loved. We would have loved to have someone when we were coming up just give us the direction, like help us navigate, because we're desperate for it, but we had to find our own way. So yeah, that's where it started. And then it kind of evolved into the dance company / dance school, which it is now. We incorporate fitness, which is a big part of it, as well as discipline, as well as, you know, just teaching our girls to dance. And it's a space where anyone's welcome. It is predominantly for females, but males are welcome as well. It's predominantly for females, just because I feel like I could give my best as a female to you, and hopefully you can relate to me. And yeah, it is coaching girls, dancers, to get into the industry, but also just giving them the tools to put into their toolkit to be successful in whatever endeavors they want to take in life, just from the things that I've learnt. Surely, like, you know, you can see that, you can aspire to it, and then you can hopefully go and copy the blueprint and do it for yourself and be successful.
And what is a growth mindset?
Well, a growth mindset for me is a mindset where you have what you have, you get your cards that you dealt with in life. Some people can say, okay, I've been dealt with, you know, I'm not tall enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. And your mindset's fixed there, and that's where it stops. The growth mindset is saying, okay, I've not been blessed with the height, and I've not been blessed with academics, and maybe I've not been blessed financially. But what I can do is I can read, I can go out and learn, I can go out and find inspiration, and I can push myself with whatever resources I have, which for me was books in the beginning. I didn't really have access to a laptop and watching podcasts and mentors. I never associated with people that were outside of my economic community, you know? So I'd never like rub shoulders with anyone that had money. I didn't even know what they looked like. But through reading books, which cost £10, you know, which is an inspiration for my own book, they're £10, but the knowledge that you get from books, just reading, for example, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, when I was 21, opened my eyes to what an asset was and a liability was. I didn't know that these things existed. I didn't know that you're supposed to save your money, like most of your money, and then invest that into something. That was just never a thing where I came from. You make money, you spend it, then you're broke again. You make it, you spend it, you're broke again. So yeah, that just opened my mind. And then once I'd like figured that out, it was like, oh, that's quite easy. Let me do it again. Make my money, invest it into something, make the money, invest it into something again. And then the mindset starts growing and growing and growing. I'd never think 12-year-old me that was running around in the youth club could one day live in London, have my own book, my own dance company and my own property, and then thinking about what's next for my life. I'd never think that, but through a growth mindset, that's how I've got to where I've got, and that's where I feel everyone is, it's accessible to anyone. It's just a mindset.
Yeah,
you know,
I think
in your head.
I think as well, like even £10 for a book, but the library is free. And like libraries now have like so many great books. Literally, and also you can generally go into them and find anything you want. They can generally get in from a different library into your one. So you've basically got every book at your resources for free, as long as you can get to the library to get out, I suppose. And then YouTube as well is like absolutely fantastic for learning stuff. Like basically I've learned everything I know about photography from YouTube and from practicing. And I've never had to pay for a course. I've never had to like pay for anything. So if you don't have the resources to go and pay for it, there are other options to be able to go and get that as well.
Yeah, knowledge is free and it's everywhere. And sometimes you can just ask someone.
Yeah.
You can just ask and they'll be more than willing to give you the answers.
So what's next for Liv?
I hate that question. Right now, I'm in my choreographing era. So I feel, not, I wouldn't say I've conquered my dancing era. I'm sure there's so many more things I'd love to do.
I think things can overlap as well. It's not like one has to end and...
Exactly. And any opportunities that I get for performing, because it is my one true love, and I will always, until my knees break, I'll do it. But a new challenge for me now is choreographing and getting my work out there and getting my work on stage and not having imposter syndrome, you know, moving into that world. So yeah, I'm working on myself. I'm choreographing every week in my company. Obviously, like I said, you have to get amazing. I can't just expect someone to pick me up and say, okay, come and choreograph.
Yeah.
I have to be incredible. So I'm working every day. I'm trying to see what's new and trying to stay current. I'm training myself. I'm traveling every year. I go to Los Angeles or Atlanta and find new ways of moving, and again trying to put everything that I know into my arsenal to now be the best choreographer that I can be and the best mentor and teacher that I can be. In terms of the company, I just plan to build it, and hire people that share the same mindset and share the same educational background, that they can also come and train my girls, because I'm just one person. I want them to have a range of people. And hopefully we can get more opportunities as a company, because I'd really love, because they give me so much energy and they give me so much of their respect and time, and I want to be able to get the opportunities to be able to give that back to them. So I'm working on networking and getting myself in with brands and just trying to expand myself as a personal brand and then expand my actual company as a brand.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for this. It's been really fun.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for having me. And you're incredible. You know that. That goes without saying.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this episode, please share it. If you want to see more of these, click subscribe. And if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask, just drop them in the comments below. See you in the next session.